This video is about scripting again in Unity, only this time I'm going to talk a little bit about writing your own methods. Now, from the previous video and from previous class time, you know a method is just a block of code that can be called and executed within a program, in this case within a script. I'm going to go to a little program I wrote in which I define a method of my own. Just to remind you, though, that Unity gives us two methods to start out with. One is called start and one is called update. Remember, the start method, the code within it is executed exactly one time when the script first starts. The code within the update method, however, is executed many times per second. Now, in this particular start method, I declared an int called number, and it's going to be assigned a value. What value is it going to be assigned? Well, you'll notice something interesting there. It says number equals calculate parentheses 7. Well, what is that? Well, calculate is a method I wrote. Notice I defined that method outside of the other two methods. I have an accessibility modifier. And by the way, if you don't see one, we have void update and void start. They don't have accessibility modifiers. Understand that they are not public, all right? If they don't have a visibility modifier. This one is private int. The reason for that is really this is a method I'm only going to use within this class. Now, private int, what does that mean? Well, private we know about. Int is the return type. In other words, it's going to return an int when it's done. Now, if it had no return type, I would put the keyword void. Void would mean there's no return type. Next, I have the name, calculate, and then I have parentheses. Within the parentheses, I have several things. For every value or number or string or whatever that I want to put in there, I have to give it a name and I have to give it a data type. In this particular method, it takes in an int, which I will refer to as value within the method. If I wanted other parameters, like a string, I would do this. I would put a comma, I would put the data type, and then I'd put a variable name for that thing that I wanted to insert into the method. So this particular method takes an int. What does it do with that int? Well, remember that int will be referred to as value. So up here when I say calculate 7, that 7 gets passed into this variable called value, and then I do something with it. I multiply it by 5, and then I return it. In other words, when I call that method, whatever value I get that I passed in will get multiplied by 5 and then return back. So guess what number is equal to after I call calculate 7? You got it, 35. Then I'll take that and I will print it out to the console. If I wanted to define another method, I would do so down here. The method would have an accessibility modifier. It would have a return data type, or void if there is none. It would have a name, and then it would have parentheses that would indicate the type of parameters that should be passed in and what I will refer to them inside the body of the method. That's it for methods.